JB, I thought about leaving you to just do this interview alone because this is going to be a simple interview. No problems at all. This is going to be like the easiest one ever. In true Delane Fitzgerald style, he has given us an easy one to do right here.
Yeah, no, this is a first in the Huddle history. In our 11 seasons, we've had offensive linemen on the show. We've had guys who've gone off and played in the NFL, offensive linemen on the show. But we have never, ever before in the history of our program attempted to get an entire offensive line, one that helped their team rush for 290 yards, control the clock for over 40 minutes in a huge game where they beat for the first time their conference rivals, Wesley, 35-34. So we'll get to the names in a minute, Frank, but welcome to In the Huddle for the first time, I guess almost the entire Frostburg State Bobcats offensive line. How's it going, guys?
How's it going?
Okay, guys, so first things first here, and we'll put you in a bigger shot so you can do this with the names on the bottom, but why don't you, starting with the front, that'll be Gene, I believe. We'll basically go front, center, right, and then back left and back right. Introduce yourselves and what position you generally play on the offensive line. I know some of you do rotate around, but what your main role is on the line.
All right. I'm Gene Robinson. I play left tackle.
I'm Jason Money. I play left guard.
I'm Wayne Olsen. I play left guard and center.
I'm Joey Powell. I play right guard.
And I'm Riley Hartman, and I play right tackle.
The funniest part of that whole thing was that the guy named Money wasn't really money on his cue, so it'll be okay. Come on. I love the name, though.
That is a great football name. So maybe we'll start off with Hartman, as you're one of the team captains. I mean, you're I believe a senior on the team. Tell us what it felt like for you and the other guys in your class, including the group here. I mean, just to finally get that win against Wesley. You guys have come real close in prior seasons, and it's been tough. They're one of the top programs in the East, have been for a long time. But you guys took them down last Saturday. What was it like when the clock finally ran out and you guys had that win?
Oh, it was great. There was no feeling like it. I haven't played a game here since that's been like that one ever. Really, they really put up a really good fight against us, and I mean, we really gave it everything we got. For me, coming in as a freshman, we played against Joe Callahan, and we lost the past 3 years. Last year was our closest year we've been to beating them, and to finally beat them, really, it was 3 years of work paying off, and I think me and along with Joey and the other seniors can agree that all those lifts, all of those spring ball practices, everything that we've done the past 3 years has really paid off on Saturday.
Yeah, Joey, let's elaborate on this a little bit. I mean, what do you think specifically, I believe you're the guard position, what do you think specifically led to the offensive success, especially toward about 2.5 minutes left in the game, the winning drive ultimately for Frostburg? What specifically was different in your mind this year that allowed this team to win this game, to go over the top against a resolute Wesley team that had a lot to play for, obviously with the emotion that occurred in the offseason and everything carrying forward to the season itself? What made it happen?
I would just say tough. We're just tougher than them, to be honest. I just think that we had a different mindset than their defensive line. I think we ran a lot more plays and we got tired slower than they did. They got tired faster than we did. And by the end of the game, it was just who wanted it more. I think we wanted it more.
93 plays to be exact, Frank, compared to 58. And that's where that time of possession, the 40-plus minutes really made a big difference. Gene, as the left tackle, your job is to protect Connor from the blind side, so to speak. And I mean, Wesley is known for having some pretty tough pass rushers and bringing a lot of pressure. You guys didn't have to pass the ball as much because you were having success running. What was it like for you, sort of, as the game evolved, when you maybe saw, okay, we may not be dropping back and throwing it like we sometimes do, but we're really just going to grind this one out by just running the ball right at them.
It wasn't really much of, excuse me, it wasn't really much to think about. We would just practice how we played. We are a very powerful team. We like to run the ball. We run power like 50 times in practice. We run 100 times in the games. So we don't really care about throwing the ball as long as we can just get down to it and just pound it in. We're fine.
Before the interview, Coach Fitzgerald kind of gave us accolades about you guys. I don't know if he does that to your faces or not, but he did to us. And the first-year guys especially, the trust that he's putting in the rotation of you guys. Jason, what's it been like in terms of the maturation process for you as a college football player to get this opportunity to be a starter? Walk us through your time so far at Frostburg and how it's been and what a day like Saturday means to a guy like you who's kind of new to the front line here.
Yeah, the past 2 years I've been second string to probably one of the best two left tackles and left guards that have come through this program, and probably one of the best left tackles and left guards in the nation. So just watching them just prepared me to get better and then finally take this starting role in the offense, just watching what they did to get myself better. And then this year, Coach LeVar came up to us and he said, there's going to be a rotation going. And it was a weird little thing going on. And I was like, okay, I was ready to go. So we just did this rotation, and it really helped out the other day against Wesley when they were not even lined up ready to go, and we were pounding it on them, just not even tired yet. It was a nice experience.
Wade, Coach Fitzgerald has told us a lot about Coach LeVar. He's he looks like he's an old school kind of guy. Even all you guys are pretty young, young dudes out there. So what's it like to have a coach like Coach LeVar work with you day in and day out at practice?
It's a fun experience, honestly. We hear a lot of his old stories that he tells us about his best friend back when they were younger. And just his teaching styles are, I'd say, easier to learn in a way. He cares more about us. And I feel like that just helps us learn more and play for him, honestly.
So let's go back to the back row here in terms of Riley and Joey. Guys, having a little more experience up front now, you've got a team coming in, the William Paterson game, coming up here. A team that's having trouble this season. Obviously, Kane blanked them on the scoreboard this past week after being blanked 3 out of 4 times themselves this season. How do you get this team not to sort of overlook them? Because after that is undefeated, at least currently, Montclair. But this William Paterson team is looking to, make somebody a target to get a big win here to make a statement game. How do you get this team focused with leadership that you have to not, become too big, ego-wise after a win against a team like Wesley that was number 6 in the nation at the time?
Coach Fitzgerald preaches to us every single week that we're playing a faceless opponent. It doesn't matter who we're playing. We could be playing Mount Union. We could be playing Wesley. We could be playing William Paterson. It doesn't matter who we're playing. We're going to practice as hard as we can every day so that we come prepared to every single game and we're ready to play every single day. And it doesn't matter if it's a Tuesday practice or if it's a Saturday. We're gonna be there playing 100%. And it doesn't matter if we're going against our scout team or William Paterson's first team or Mount Union's first team. We're going to play as hard as we can, and the coaches put us in the right situations to practice and play as hard as we can every single week.
Joey, tell us about William Paterson a little bit. What will we see from that team from what you've seen on film so far?
Today's our day off. We haven't looked much into them yet. We probably look more into it tomorrow, but it seems like they're an Okie front, so they have three down linemen, two hanging backers, and 2 middle backers. And I don't know. I know that they slant a little bit more than normal teams. At least that's what I know they've done in the past. But I mean, that's all I've seen so far.
Do you guys feel like there's a different air or sense of urgency about the team? And we obviously know you guys are going to be heading up to Division II after this season. It won't necessarily affect the seniors necessarily, other than they'll be cheering for you guys against different opponents than the ones that they were used to in their 4 or 5 seasons. But is there sort of a different air or sort of aura around the team, with that sort of transition coming up and knowing that this is sort of your last shot as far as Division III is concerned?
They're mad because I'm calling this question. Me and Joey are seniors here. We care about this football program. We're going to focus on this year. Yeah, looking at Division II next year is going to be a cool look for these guys up front. But we're going to focus on this year. We like what we're doing this year, and we're going to look in the future when we get there. But after the season, we'll focus on that. For now, we'll focus on Division III, and we're going to play the best we can at this level.
Money's shaking his head yes. Go ahead, Money. Talk to me about this.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, it's cool that we're going D2 and all, but this year we're just focused on making it as far as we can go right now. We're driving the bus right now. We just got to keep our head on straight and just keep going.
That was a Money answer for sure right there.
That was.
Okay, guys, it's time to have a little fun here now, because we've never done this before with so many guys. We had Connor and
Niles.
who's our other guest? Niles Scott. Yeah,
Niles
that's
Scott.
right. Hello.
Guys, you probably practiced with a lot over the last few seasons.
How was it practicing against Niles Scott? Somebody in the front take that one.
Oof.
Niles, he was just, it's hard to describe. It was just Niles. You got a beast every day you had to deal with, and it made us better, honestly. And I remember me and Jason's freshman year when you had Niles and Will Sewell on the line, and that was an experience down on the scout team. Going against them made us better, I believe.
Yeah. So the segue I was trying to make in there was that we've never done this before, so we decided to come up with some questions that we want you to point to the player that fulfills the answer in this set. Now, if for some reason you think that there's another offensive lineman that's not pictured here that should be, just raise your hand and we'll ask you for the name. But let's try to keep it to this group. Yeah, one of those things. I'm going to just keep it focused on you. JB, you got the same questions I do, I think, in front of you, so we'll alternate.
Yes.
And I'll let you go first, JB.
All right, guys. Now, this is the real serious part of the show. Which one of you or your maybe the teammates who couldn't be here are the biggest goofballs of the group? We know offensive linemen like to have fun. Who are the funniest guys?
Really?
That was an easy one. Yeah, he's being shy for right now, but that's awesome.
Okay, question 2. Which is the player most likely to replace James Baker as our analyst on In the Huddle, because they're just such a football nerd?
Oh, man.
Wow. I can't believe unanimous answers here. Riley, congratulations. I'll see you on the bottom square here in the near future, I guess.
I'll see you there. I'll see you next year.
There you go.
Yeah.
Take us up.
I think my contract is running up. All right, guys. Part about being the offensive line is the only time you get your name called is when something bad happens, right? So if you're coming off the field because a drive has ended, and whether it's a holding call, something didn't go well, which player is most afraid of being pulled aside by either Coach Fitzgerald or Coach Lavara to have themselves get chewed out? If, of course, that's an option.
Gene.
Left tackle's got the tough job, man. Oh, man.
Gene, why are you still scared of him?
Huh?
He's not scared. Come on.
Come on, guys. This is too good. It's almost like we gave you the script of questions and we did not do so. I will admit to the fact that you have not seen these. Okay, next up. The person that you would not want to stand behind in the buffet line.
That's O'Shea.
Riley's taking credit himself.
So we've got a unanimous answer, and that is
Definitely O'Shea.
Okay. So basically, we would want to stand behind none of you at the buffet line because we'll either never eat or never get to the front, or one or the other. JB?
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. So when your quarterback, Connor, thanks. Every time the quarterbacks get interviewed after the game, they always have to say, my offensive line did a great job, and they opened up the holes and they kept me upright. But who do you think he really wants to thank the most of the group for playing the best?
I think that he wants to thank along with the O-line, he wants to thank the coaches. They put him in a good spot every week. They do the right things, and I mean himself. He does a great job. He does a great job. He does a great job. I'm not gonna lie. He does a great job escaping defenders when we don't pick up pressure or whenever. Yeah. He does a great job escaping people, and so I mean, some of it is us. A lot of it is us, but there are times where he escapes people and he makes huge plays on his own that we can't account for. So.
Wow. So listen, guys, one thing before we go to the last question here. If I go to the Montclair game in a couple of weeks and, I'll do post-game interviews with the winning team, if I grab Connor and do an interview, I want all 5 of you to do some kind of video bombing behind us, okay? Don't let them know we're talking about doing this. But just look for me in the middle of the field.
Watch this video, Frank.
No. He's too busy getting his accolades for himself ready in the next game. So he won't be watching this. Okay, guys. What was that?
Doing his makeup.
He's doing his
exactly.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Okay, here we go. This one, trust me, you cannot get in trouble for this question. I promise you this. The player that can do the best Delane Fitzgerald impression. Out of you 5, which one is
bring up previous linemen?
Nope. I just want the 5 on the camera.
We had a player last year who could do a pretty good impression, but I don't think any of us here have a good enough voice to do a good impression of Coach Fitz this year.
O'Shea gives him his best shot.
I'm gonna
we
ask
also want to be
Money.
playing next week. We don't want to be on the bench.
You can
Come
tell
on,
that
Money.
these guys, they're. I mean, first off, wouldn't you have to start off with, "Well, thank you for asking me that question, Frank." Is that any good?
That's pretty good. I know you like to do your research, and these guys are as polished of offensive linemen as I have ever seen in my football career. Is that kind of good? Give us a rating.
Yeah.
So okay.
It's a 4 out of 10.
So Riley, go ahead. Do us a little bit better. You don't have to worry about next year, right?
He's still got to practice this week.
Yeah, I'd like to be playing this week. I wouldn't play my backup.
Coach Fitzgerald, look at that. You got them scared. Look, I had to face Mike Toot this week, who I had U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. I had done an impression of him, which is horrible, earlier in the season. And he told me it sucked, basically, and wasn't mad at me for it, but nonetheless, I feel for you guys. So, guys, I'm going back to the 5 chef for a reason here. At this point in time, we've got to make a little time for this. We want you guys to give some shout-outs. We'll start with Gene, go to Jason, to Wade, to Joey, then to Riley for shout-outs for anybody that's watching, friends, family, teammates, whoever. We've got about 32 minutes left in this interview, so go ahead and take your time with it. So, guys, shout-outs. Gene, hit us up first.
All right. If my mom was watching, I'd like to give you a shout-out out there. I love you, Mom. And a shout-out to my offensive line coach, Coach Kimbrough from high school. Well, looks like I made it, right?
Not if you're using the huddle as the parameter for that, I hate to tell you. Jason?
I'll give a shout out to my parents and my brother, and I'll give a shout out to my offensive line back at home in high school, the past players here.
I'd like to give a shout out to both my parents. Love you guys. And I'd love to give a shout out to my offensive line coach back in high school, Richard Serbe.
I'll shout out my parents, both Kathy and Joe Powell, and I actually went to the same high school as Gene, so I'll shout out Coach Kimbrough too.
There you go.
Cool.
I'd like to give a shout out to my mom, my dad, my girlfriend. Let's see who else. My high school coaches, Coach Wheels, Coach Burnett, Coach McNutt. They're really a great group of coaches to play for. And then as well as Christian Walsh and Jake Townsend, they helped mentor all of us here into what we are today. And I think we really owe them a lot. And also a shout out to Brian Taylor.
Shout out to Brian Taylor.
That's right.
So is Riley always the most spoken of the five of you? Is he always one? Yeah, no, I can tell. By the way, girlfriend. What's that?
At practice, these guys don't talk. Joey, I play next to Joey, and Joey doesn't like to talk much. But I've been playing next to him for 3 years now, so he doesn't even have to speak, and I know what he's thinking nowadays. But yeah, definitely, these guys are quiet.
Riley, what's the girlfriend's name?
My girlfriend's name is Emily Robbie.
Emily.
Right.
Seemed to have a good guy there, and he's got some good supporting cast, to say the least, with the other offensive linemen, and obviously with Connor Cox as quarterback. Who needs more support than that on the offensive line? Although it's supposed to be the other way around, but whatever. Guys, we appreciate you. Appreciate what you do out there. They call you the Big Uglies, but none of you are fitting that bill, that's for sure, in the trenches. And Connor's lucky to have you for his own vitality's sake. You guys have done a great job. Coach Fitzgerald says you guys aren't overly huge in terms of size, but your hearts are definitely huge on that field and what you bring to it every week. Good luck against William Paterson, and see you at the Montclair game as long as the stars align here. And don't hesitate to say hi to me, because I will be looking for the winners hopefully afterward, and we'll see if it's Montclair or you guys ultimately. Good luck with everything.
All right, thank you guys for taking the time to interview us. We appreciate it. This is the first recognition we've got outside of the football program, so it feels great.
Yeah, it was good.
You guys deserve it, definitely. And thanks, Coach Fitzgerald, for putting this together, and everybody else over there. We do appreciate what Frostburg does for us every season. We will miss you guys when you're in Division II, but we will still follow you. Thanks.
Yep.